2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, Reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Blair Athol or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
It's our Affair Pod Show. It's our Affair Pod Show. It's our Affair Pod Show. It's our Affair Pod Show.
G'day there, podcaster. Liam here. The show's coming out of Adelaide tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be a bit different. Not really. It's going to be the exact same show. It won't change in any way, shape, or form, to be honest.
Yeah. The audio on Friday might sound a little bit different because we'll be recording that one out of a boardroom on Friday. So that will be
But why will we not be in a boardroom on Thursday, Bill?
Because we won't be in the boardroom on Thursday.
Okay, well, you're confusing me. Ben is also here.
I'm present. I got a couple of bits of business. It's mainly just one bit of business, a kind of couple of bits under the banner of business.
How many bits you got, mate? Just tell us.
Well,
Just
I got one bit of business.
Yep.
But then there's other bits below the banner of business.
Sub-business.
If the business banner is about people's feedback on the podcast,
Yep.
do we want to hold that? Because I feel like that, again, like yesterday's, is just going to blow out. So do we want to do your small things first and then do that?
Well, that is my small thing.
Oh, that's it.
That's
All
what I've
right.
got.
Well, that's also what I've got.
Okay,
so-
great. Well, Bell's
Okay.
obviously here.
Bell's
So
here.
just to get you up to speed, crash course, we got news about a week ago that the podcast had to fully change where traditionally in radio, you do a radio show, then you'd cut it up and you make it into a podcast. Now, the problem with that is the tech, i.e. AI, has caught up with the law and it is illegal. We've always known this, but it's never been a problem. But it's illegal to put music in a podcast because you don't pay anybody the rights to use their music.
And look, if you missed yesterday's off-air episode, here's a good example. Tony Montana.
Oh, my God.
Who-
No, we're not going into that again.
What do you mean, Bill?
No.
Well, for people that didn't hear it yesterday,
Example is we used to be able to put music in, now we can't.
I think my example was more fun.
the
and had
reason
more voices in it.
the reason it's such a big deal is because you might think, oh, no music, not a big deal, but then it's so overarching. The music infests its way in a good way into the show so much. It's in intros, it's in song parodies. You're talking about an artist, you play a grab. If you're talking about a TV show and you play the thing, you can't use any of that. All those things are off the table.
A segment that revolves around music, can't
Yep.
do that.
So
It's like you can go to the gym, but you can't use the weights. Yeah, there's other things you can do. You
Yep.
can get on the treadmill for a bit. You can use some of the bands and stuff. You can use your own body weight. And
Yep.
yeah, it can get you to a certain point.
you can get a little yoked.
Yeah, but you're not going to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yeah.
staunch, you know?
So that's kind of where we're at. And we said, what do we do? Because obviously we make the podcast for you. We want to keep making it and we don't want the quality of it to drop off. Obviously, this podcast, the Off-Air Pod, doesn't really affect it. There's the Sunday pod, the True Crime one, doesn't really affect it too much. But it does really affect the show pod, which is where 90% of our content
Has
comes from.
anyone in the room listened to it lately?
I'm
No.
actually scared too.
I have not.
Well, look, we said give us feedback because obviously we do this for you. We want your feedback. If you want to give it to us, Ben at Lehman Bell's Pod Squad, ask and you shall receive. We got a lot of good engagement on this one. I was actually enjoying reading what everyone's opinions were because we asked for it and we got it. Bo said, just put songs in anyway with enough fart sound effects over the top. The AI will think it's just Liam talking because he's a big piece of shit.
Great.
Is that Bell's burner account? Who wrote that?
Michelle gave a bit more of a real one. Michelle said, the show pod has lost its spirit. It's lackluster. It's just meh. I only listen to the pods. I'm going to miss out on all the gold that the show has. I have no idea how you guys are going to move forward from here, and I don't like where I go from here. Love the off-air pods, but not the new pod in its current format.
Yeah, and I get that. And it's just unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, Nova-wide, you're going to have the same problem. And I'm assuming industry-wide at a certain point.
It could also be, and New Ben was saying this, and I do agree, I just don't love that it's not a definite timeline. He was saying the way it's been worded to him from the higher-ups is it's more like a bear with us until we sort it kind of thing.
Okay,
'Cause-
so we could, by the time we've burnt our dwindling audience,
Yep.
almost entirely, for the 6 or 7 people that stick around, they'll go, was that Flow Rider? And then they'll be like, oh my God, like the drought's over. And the
Yeah.
music will come back. And then I suppose we'll just have to,
Ma, the music's here.
yeah, we'll have to start from ground up and thank the people who
Yeah.
stuck around through the storm.
It might not be a thing forever. It might be temporary. I think we have to plan like it's going to be forever.
Yeah.
What the other Nova radio shows are doing, and I don't love this, is they're just cutting their favorite break, 1 or 2 or sometimes 3, and they just post that as a podcast. So
Or are they separate podcasts?
separate
each?
podcasts, yeah. So each bit is its own podcast. But then I don't love that because then as the podcast listener experience, it's not as good because you have to listen to 2 ads, then you get 3 minutes of content, then you
Yeah.
get 2 ads, and then you've got to skip to the next one. That to me
that
isn't
sucks.
good.
That's a worse thing than you're currently getting, I
Yep,
think.
Yeah.
totally.
You
Hey.
have to have, there'll be more flicking around.
I'm no lawyer, but could we just like play this episode and yesterday's episode to the court, and surely they'd be like, "Wow, these guys are in pain. Listen to them and their dwindling audience that think it's lackluster." Surely.
Some other comments from people in the pod squad. Damn Ian.
I think it's Damien, and he's made his
Yeah, no,
Facebook
you're right.
name Dame Ian.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Very good.
Said, I love the podcast and I wish it didn't have to change, but I'll still listen to whatever you put on.
Damn,
Well,
Ian.
That's one of the 7. Thank you.
Tom has said, I'm happy to hear whatever can be put in the podcast. My question is, are all the old pods with music going to be pulled down? I quite often go back through old pods as I enjoy the old gear with the story arcs and other bits. So will the old ones still exist?
No.
I don't know either.
I think they will. I think there was a discussion about this because obviously
It's like moving forward, we won't do it, but I think the archives will
'Cause
still be there, Tom.
the problem is at the moment the specific problem I believe is with Spotify. They're the ones that said, hey, you can't do this, which I understand the law. I get that it's not fair, but I understand it. So Spotify said, hey, you can't do this. So what Nova is, I think, currently doing is they're going to Spotify to go, hey, from this date on, we hear what you're saying and we'll stop doing it. So I think the old ones are probably going to be fine, but the new ones are not going to be.
But that's why I don't have faith in the just bear with us kind of thing. Because if we're going to Spotify saying, yeah, nah, sorry, we'll stop, I don't see that then being like in a few months and we can start again. I think this is it. And if that's the case, I mean, yeah, it's like the whole world's getting tariffs put on them. We've got tariffs put on our music,
Yep.
and it's hit us.
I wish Scudder was here. I could go and get him, I guess, because this one kind of is a question for Scudder. But Liam did a post in the pod squad, said, suggestion for the pod music, rather than silence, would Scudder be able to produce the parodies using Splice samples? Splice is all royalty-free and have plenty of strung-together loops, samples, and sound effects. Would compile pretty quickly. Footy
Yeah.
with Broden uses this.
We have talked about this.
Have we?
Instead of nothing, we use copyright-free music. So
Oh, okay, yeah, so
for
Scud-
our intros, it'll be copyright-free. For if Liam does a parody on air, or not a parody, but a skit on air, and it has a bed, we use a copyright-free bed, etc., etc.
Right.
That is option 2. Instead of just, we've got Lady Gaga tickets.
What, and we
Whoa.
use like a Splice
Actually, no,
version
that one
of-
wouldn't work. Take
that wouldn't
yeah.
work, right?
Forgive me. Not that one.
It would only work for skits and intros.
Yes. Or yes, correct. Yeah. Skits and intros.
Or you ask AI, because AI is dicking us at the moment. You ask AI to be like, AI, make a Lady Gaga song. So it's not, but it sounds like it. It's like, whoop-a-doop, doop, 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 dancing round the clock. Whoop-a-dup, dup, 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 poker. Games are cool.
Option 3, we do everything a cappella.
I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so I'm in favour of that.
Yeah, I think we...
Better than silence.
Yeah.
But then my only problem with that is if we're using the spliced version for the podcast, are we then going to use the proper version for the radio
Yeah.
show?
Yeah, so if you listen to us on the radio
Yep.
and you tick your survey book when you get one,
Mm-hmm.
then...
And we obviously can't encourage you to
We
do that.
cannot
Can't. That's-
encourage you.
That's highly against the law. But if you were to get one and you slipped,
Yeah, and ticked like us for the whole thing. Then you would be getting the purest form of.
Yep.
And I hate to use this analogy again, but the product. You know.
he's brought it back.
Yeah, Tony, this is the pure product. The radio, and then it's like it's cut with other stuff by the time you listen
Yeah.
to
By
it
the
in
time you get it in
podcast
podcast.
Yeah,
form.
yeah,
Yeah. And
But then
you're
also,
like, it's
why
not as
can't
good.
we?
You're like, why am I not getting the same high
Mm.
that I was when I was listening to the radio show? Because you're not getting the pure stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
but why can't we?
The product.
I get it. I get, and like things on air with like actual song grabs, yes. But why can't we use the copyright-free music for an intro for a segment on air?
Because won't be as pure.
We can use the ones we used to use for like for example, Second Chance Talkback. We can keep that one for on air. But if we make up a new segment,
Yeah, if like
w- the
moving forward,
we'll
we'll
use
try. Yeah,
copyright
we'll
free.
try. And
It's just a lot of work.
yeah, I am
mate,
well
you
aware.
want a lackluster, empty
No,
podcast?
that's why we're talking about it. I hate the idea of it, but it's just like two
And
intros.
I also think this is just me. I think we've dedicated majority of 2 episodes to this now.
Yes.
But it's like it's
Well,
a big
look,
theme, right?
Yeah, I know it is, and bear with us. Bear with us, but we will get through this. Back stronger.
Yep, back stronger.
Sure.
Okay, Bill, that wasn't. So, like, Ben and I are like, right now we're like politicians.
Yeah.
Even though we don't know it's going to be all right, we're saying it's going to be all right, and people will lead. We lead from the front, people will follow, and we need you up there with us on the front line saying, "Pod Squad, it's going to be okay." People want something they can get behind, a message they can get behind. So,
Mate,
Belle, what do you say?
I'm honest. I'm being truthful. I'm not gonna lie. It sucks.
Okay, well,
It's terrible, and we're all in this together.
There was one
I
comment
don't
that
like
I loved.
that energy.
No,
I'm not into that.
I'm not gonna say it's all fine.
Maybe
It's
Ben and
not
I
all
will start
fine.
our own podcast, and it's just like more
Imagine that.
positive energy.
yeah. It'll be like Scarface and Ben.
Yeah.
There was one comment that I liked. I can't find it now, but it was a nice comment. They said, if they're as smart as they are entertaining, they'll figure out a way around this. That was nice.
Aww.
Hang on, what did they say?
Because at the moment, we've just got our hogs in our hand and we're just trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like we're trying, but it's confusing.
Yeah.
They said, if they're as smart as they are entertaining, they'll figure it
Oh,
out.
that's quite.
It was a nice comment.
I thought I sort of only heard bits of that, and I thought it said if they're as smart as they think they are. And I'm like, that's not nice. That's sort of condescending. But I'm like, that's very sweet.
No, we
you know.
are working 100% behind the scenes to fix
And that's the
this.
thing.
I think
We've
all
been
we
pretty-
do is turn the mics on, complain, and then
no,
move
I've
on.
been in a lot of meetings. I've been in a lot of meetings for this.
Yeah,
Belle,
I've been in
tons.
heaps. I was in a meeting with Gwen.
Yep.
I was in a meeting with Stacey,
Stop.
Giangelo,
Baxter.
while you were at BFT,
Yeah.
I don't
Ben
go
and
to BFT anymore.
while you were at your sewing class.
Oh, shut up.
Mate, doesn't make any
That's
sense
so-
because that hasn't been published yet.
Not a thing yet.
Ah,
Liam just
a
made a
peek behind the curtain.
Liam made a reference to Bottom of the Notes, which is it's a great,
Honestly, yeah.
great series, and you'll hear that next
Yeah,
week.
Belle pulls some stuff out of her ass that you're not going to believe.
Yeah.
Check that out, bottom of the notes. Yes,
It's the
we
second
have
time
recorded
that's
it.
happened in the history. Ben did it last time, remember?
It's hard because you record
Yeah.
stuff.
You do.
and-
Also, Belle sent this incredible AI video today of her picking up AI generated rat and like burying it.
It's
because,
a mouse,
You know,
and it wasn't AI. And I did it actually.
how do you
I've
feel
done
about
2
mouse
this
traps?
week. Okay, I don't like any cruelty to animals. Full stop. So I'll let you answer that. But
Okay.
yes, I found a mouse, and clearly I think it's been poisoned near mine. So I did what I always do: pick it up, make a little grave for it in the nearby garden,
Yeah.
bury it.
If,
I've
mi-
done
if
2
mi-
this week.
if there's mice in your house, I think you have to kill them. I think that's the
in no
general
world would I do
rule.
that.
Well, to be fair, the humans were there first, and then the mouse came into their house.
No,
Yeah, it's like people are like, well, you went into the shark's environment.
No, the
I've had-
mouse.
I've had a
nature
mouse.
is here. We have built our house on the
I've had a
animal's land.
couple of mice before, and I have used traps, and
Yeah.
I'll
I'm
put
not
my hand up
surprised
and
by
say
that.
that.
Like legally, if me and the mouse go to court, like I
Yeah, it's
live
not like
here.
squatters' rights. Like,
Yeah.
unless you want to chip in on the mortgage, bro.
Yeah.
Because the interest rates aren't great.
Yeah.
So unless you can give me some cheese or something from your side of things, we can rent this together.
You can say it's your land. It was their land first.
No, it wasn't. The mouse was literally born like a month ago.
Yeah.
Do you think
The
a mouse? Do
animal's
you think there's a
land.
mouse living on this earth older than me? No. I am
So
their
why
god.
do you
I am
have?
more
So
powerful
you've
than
got
them.
one animal in your house that you will care for and love,
Yeah.
and another animal comes in.
Yeah,
and
it's
you
different.
have
It's vermin.
complete hate for it, but it's not.
Yeah, 'cause it's spreading
but we've
disease.
done that. We've labelled that as that.
To be fair, if my dog in my house, I'm totally fine with. If a stranger's dog came in my house,
Yeah.
I'd get traps for the dog.
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable with a dog,
traps.
a strange dog in my house.
Dog traps.
Would you kill a dog, Liam?
No, of course not.
See,
I'd kill a dog if it was coming at my son.
I'd kill a dog if it was coming at my godson.
Absolutely, brother.
I'd tag team it with Ben.
Yeah. That's why you're the godfather.
Yeah, man.
And Tony Montana.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Anyway, yeah, no more killing dog chat. Should we call it? Is that the name of this one? Ben and Liam talk about how they would kill a dog. No,
Please don't. We're getting
weird,
cancelled
weird.
enough already.
Yeah,
we don't
we
need
are.
that.
We don't
taken
need this
down.
popping up in the
No.
courts.
I think we'll call it an update on the podcast situation.
That will be the next title of the podcast for the next 2 months.
And that's it.
Miss any of the show? Catch up with the Ben, Liam and Bell podcast on the Nova Player or wherever you get your pods.
Ben, Liam, and Bell on Nova.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, Reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Blair Athol or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.